You are now listening to the smooth sensations and high vibrations of Alex, host of the best relationship channel on YouTube. Alex, drop them gems on us.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. And I was just having a conversation with one of my boys, and it was the inspiration for me to make this video because a lot of you guys, we could talk about all the issues with modern women all day, right? And I say that in a lot of videos. But I like to be solution-based and solution-oriented. At the end of the day, despite all the problems modern women have, I still know how to make them be submissive. I still know how to pick the right ones. So I'd rather talk about those solutions with you guys. And I'm not as harsh on modern women as a lot of men are because I understand something about them that a lot of men don't, which is a lot of the ways modern women are. It's not necessarily their fault. It's their father's fault. Let it breathe, run it back. I said older men, specifically baby boomer men, Generation X men, have failed their daughters. And they've played a major contributing role to why modern women are so hard to date and why they seem to have such a hard time getting into stable, healthy relationships. I'm about to explain that. See, we like to talk about feminism. And don't get me wrong, third and fourth wave feminism did a number on modern women. I always talk about third and fourth wave feminism because that's when it stopped being about equal rights. I support women having equal rights. I say it all the time. There was a time where women couldn't drive cars, couldn't buy houses, couldn't even work. So couldn't even vote. I support them being able to do all that. My problem came in the fourth wave feminism and third wave feminism where it started to go into more about intersectionality and other things of that nature, where it got off, in my opinion, lost its purpose, all right? So one of the biggest flaws with feminism, right? And this is going to lead into the dad things. Just hear me out, y'all. I got to paint a picture. One of the biggest flaws with feminism is that feminism calls everything males have established as roles, gender roles for women in relationships to be patriarchy. Now, this would be fine, right, if they felt the same way about everything men were supposed to do. One of my biggest problems with modern feminists, right, is they will sit and look you right in your face, right, and say to you, well, I shouldn't have to cook and I shouldn't have to clean because that's the patriarchy. But then they'll also look you in your face and say a male's supposed to be a protector and a male's supposed to be a provider. But that was patriarchy. Let it breathe, run it back. The same patriarchy that said women should be barefoot and pregnant in the house tending to the household chores and the children, right? The same rules that said that are the same rules that said the men should be the protectors and the providers. It was the same patriarchy. As a matter of fact, you'll also hear women say a lot, you shouldn't be arguing with no woman. That's sassy. It's not masculine. Guess what? That was a part of the patriarchy too. Because that was established at a time where the real reason they say you shouldn't argue with women isn't because it's unmasculine. It's because women were looked at as less than. So it's like arguing with a child, basically. That's why they said you shouldn't argue with women. So it's funny to me how modern feminists want to keep certain parts of the patriarchy, whereas you don't talk back to them, basically, whereas you pay all the bills, whereas you protect them, but they don't want to keep the parts that call for them to do anything. Now, when you have that in collaboration with fathers, and yes, now we about to talk about you terrible-ass fathers, because the fathers are the same way. When I was talking to my homeboy on the phone, I said something very profound to him that he hadn't even thought of. I know a lot of you dudes watching this video haven't thought of it either. And a lot of you females watching this video probably haven't thought of it. But what I said to him was, when you were a young boy, did anyone ever tell you how you were supposed to treat women? And he said, well, yeah, of course. You know, I got to talk about flowers and being a protector and being a provider and how I should talk to them and how I should care for them. We get told everything we're supposed to do as a man. I said, now watch this. Have you ever asked a woman if anyone taught her about how she's supposed to treat a man? Everyone teaches us how we're supposed to treat women. Has anyone taught her how to treat a man? And he said, I never really thought to ask. I was like, go ahead and ask. You'd be surprised. Most of the women I've dated in my life, most of the women that I am friends with, even things that I've observed, like I got 3 sisters, for example. I know for a fact one of them was never told how to treat a man, what a man wants, what a man wants, what a man needs, whatever keeps him happy and makes him please. I know for a fact she was never taught that. The majority of women never get taught what a man expects, what a man wants, how to keep a man. All right? Now, if you're in the black community, this is a bigger problem than it is necessarily if you're in the white community, Hispanic community, or Asian community. But some of them have this problem too, especially in modern times. They aren't taught anything about what they're supposed to do for you. So you have feminism telling them the traditional things we want from a woman. Don't cook for us. Don't clean for us. Right? Don't be nurturing, caring. Submissive is a bad word now somehow. So everything we want, right? Don't do. But everything we're supposed to do, protect, provide, provision, we're supposed to still do. The dads could counteract this by saying to their daughters, no, baby. If you want a good man, you need to know how to cook. If you want a good man, you need to know how to clean. If you want a good man, you need to be nurturing, caring, soft, feminine. But they don't tell them that. You know what most women's dads tell them? What you're supposed to do. Most women's dads do nothing different than society, as in they come to their daughters and they tell their daughters, this is what you should expect from a man. This is what you should expect from a man. Don't take no less. This is how he should be treating you. Don't take no less. This is what he should be doing for you. Don't take no less. And they never take the time, even though they're men themselves, who have dealt with selfish women at some point in their life. I can almost guarantee it. They never take the time to tell their daughters what to give back. They just continue to tell their daughters to take. And she's a pretty princess, and oh my God, girl, you so beautiful. But this is what you dads don't understand. Your baby girl is beautiful to you. I hope she's supposed to be. It's like that meme where everybody used to go around with the nerd. Everybody talking about how this girl is mid, and he goes, she's beautiful to me. That's most women's fathers. All right? Because I'll sit here and say, look, I'm looking at your daughter. She average to me. I done had women with way fatter butts than your daughter, way bigger breasts than your daughter, way prettier than your daughter. So your daughter is nothing special to me. She's not a prize to me. See, this is why dads fail their daughters. Because they make their daughters feel like she's a prize. Every man should be happy to have her. Like I said, she's beautiful to me, but she's not a prize. Let's call a spade a spade. Most of y'all daughters are average. I'm not saying that to be an a-hole. I'm just being honest. Most of your daughters are average. And you're doing nothing but harm by telling her she's a pretty little princess who could do no wrong. Because in the eyes of any man of substantial value, she's not no pretty little princess who can do no wrong. She's an average-ass woman who better come up with some type of useful utility to make me want to marry her and take care of her. Otherwise, what the hell would I want to do it for? And you failed her by not even telling her what I want when you know what I want because you're a man just like me. Instead, you done told your daughter, right? And like I said, most of y'all daughters are mid. Most of y'all daughters are fat. Most of y'all daughters ain't got no ass, ain't got no titties. Just, you know what I'm saying? Boobs dropping like kickballs. And you done set her out here between you and modern feminism thinking she gonna find someone who gonna pay all her damn bills, take care of her, treat her like a pretty little princess who can do no wrong, not talk back, and she don't even know how to cook. She won't clean, don't know how to cook, isn't nurturing, isn't caring, refuses to listen to anything you say. And you're setting her up for failure. She's gonna go out here, she's gonna get her ass kicked. That's what's gonna happen. Because there's always a couple of dudes who they can't really get women like that. So even though your daughter's mid, they'll deal with her, right? But guess what? Your daughter, because she thinks she's a pretty little princess and God's gifts to the world, right? She's going to want to provide her. She's going to want to protect her. With the economy the way it is today, right? It's crazy to me that women fought for the right to work, just to work backwards and then still expect to provide her in the first place. But I digress. With the way the world is today, I tell people all the time, you're going to need at least 6 figures just to live comfortable. All right? Just live comfortably. So imagine having a housewife on top of that. For you to effectively have a housewife in this economy, guys, I want you to understand this. You're going to need at least $200,000 or more. Now, you got to ask yourself, right? You have an average daughter. Average as hell. She's not beautiful. She's not gorgeous. She may be beautiful to you, but she's not to us. And you're going to send your daughter out here with no knowledge of what a man wants, what a man expects, what she should do, how to even compete. And you're going to expect for her to land a $200,000 man who don't talk back? You're out your damn mind. You're failing your daughter. This is why we have an abundance of delusional ass women running around out here who get their ass kicked in the dating market. Because what happened is your daughter might just be, average can mean a bunch of different things, right? So your daughter might be fat, but being fat might come along with having big titties. So she can get smashed, right? Your daughter might be average in the face, but that might come along with having a fat butt. So she can get smashed. Her problem isn't getting smashed, it's getting kept. The reason she can't get kept is because you didn't equip her with the tools to know what a man needs. All right? That's the problem. Most women, if you do ask them if they ever got taught anything, some of them will say that they were taught never leave your man horny or hungry. That's a good starting point, but that's not enough. Because the reality is, men still want nurturing. The reality is, men still want caring. The reality is, men still want dainty. The reality is, men still want a touch of boozy. Right? The reality is, men still want someone who's clean. A clean freak. Right? We still want other things. Now, I will say, at least the woman who was told, never leave your man horny and hungry, was told something. But that's not going to be enough to compete on a large scale. Some of these women weren't even told that. You ain't got to cook for no man. How are you going to tell your daughter to secure a man who can protect and provide for her when she don't cook? She ain't got no cookbook. You ain't taught her ass to cook. You've taught her nothing. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That's bare necessity number one. Having a daughter who doesn't know how to cook or won't cook for a man is like raising a son who won't pay any bills or won't provide for a woman. Which we run into a lot now, honestly, these days. That's because the women are raising the men. So what happened, and this is another problem. You know what? I'll say that for another video. I ain't even going to get into that right now. But either way, it's like raising a broke man. You're going to raise a broke man and expect him to get cooperation from women. Now, if he happens to win a genetic lottery, and be handsome and have a nice body, he might get cooperation for a little bit. But at a certain point, a man's going to have to know how to protect, how to provide, how to love a woman properly, or she's going to give him problems. He'll have a relationship, but his relationship will be hell. Y'all sending women out here, they don't know what a man wants, what a man needs. They don't think they have to do anything. They all think they're God's gift to the world. That's the biggest problem with modern women. Every woman thinks she's a baddie nowadays. Have y'all noticed that? Nobody thinks they're average. I ran into this myself on my channel. I told Courtney she's average. I see women, I've dated women who look better than you, who look as good as you every day. There's nothing special about you. Doesn't mean you're ugly, right? You're just okay. You're cute, but you're average, right? She got so pissed. She came in my live crashing out. I want you guys to understand that. Came in my live, crashed out in my live. Then went on her channel, made another video, crashed out in her video. People in the comments telling her that she's being ridiculous because the man didn't say you're ugly, he just said you're average. Everyone's confused why Courtney Michelle is crashing out just because I called her average. But the reason she's crashing out is because no one tells women today they're average. If Courtney's dad had did her the favor, assuming she even knows her dad, that he should have done her, was to be like, okay, baby, you're cute, but you also have a big-ass forehead, your body's a little bit sloppy, and you got a gap that looked like Moses parted the Red Sea, right? So being cute ain't going to be enough. You're also going to need to know how to cook. You're also going to need to be clean, right? Men like their women almost OCD in terms of cleanness, right? Because we want her to be cleaner than us. We want her to be like just on it, right? You're also going to have to be nurturing. You're also going to have to be caring. You're going to have to be supportive. You're going to have to be submissive. Doesn't mean you're a slave. Just be submissive to the man. If this is the man you want to lead. But see, Courtney, I can guarantee you, was never really told that. Because if she was told that, if she wasn't led to believe her shit don't stink, like most women, like I said, this is most women. But if she wasn't led to believe that, me saying, oh, you average, you're cute, but you average, wouldn't have caused the crash out. We're in a generation now where you tell women they're average, they crash out because no one has ever told them that before. But the reality is the vast majority of them are average. You got every woman walking around here thinking she looks as good as Ruby Rose. You can't even tell a woman she's fat nowadays. Here's the thing. You tell a man he's fat, right? The man accepts that he's fat. When a man's fat, no one hides from the man that he's fat. You get what I'm saying? All right, his mama telling me he's fat. His daddy telling me he's fat. His sister telling me he's fat. His granddaddy telling me he's fat. Cousins telling me he's fat. His friends telling me he's fat. Women telling me he's fat. Everybody tells him he's fat. Now, this may seem mean, but it's not mean. It actually does him a favor that everyone's telling him he's fat. How does it do him a favor, Alex? It's simple. The reason it does him a favor is because now that he's fat, he knows, okay, I might be handsome, right? But I'm fat. So I don't have raw sex appeal. Yes, there are some women who are chubby chasers, but that's the minority, so shut the hell up. All right? Most women would prefer for their man to not be fat. But because he's aware that he's fat, he can do other things to make up for the fact that he's fat, right? So he can go be like, all right, I'm fat, but I'm getting money. I'm fat, but I'm charismatic. I got charisma. I'm fun to be around. I crack jokes. He's going to learn to make up other things to get around the fact that he's fat. Because he knows because I'm fat, I have to be extraordinary at the other phases of my life. You get what I'm saying? So like, for example, if a woman is fat, and don't play with me like y'all don't know what fat is. Because y'all try to act like y'all don't know the difference between fat and thick. Alright? Like, Ice Spice before she got on them damn pills and lost all that weight was thick. Megan Thee Stallion is thick. You understand what I'm saying to you? Trina is thick. Lizzo is fat. So don't tell me you don't know the difference between fat and thick, but that's neither here nor there. If you're able to explain to a woman she's overweight, that doesn't hurt her, it helps her. And the reason that it helps her is because now that she knows she's overweight, she can compensate for that by being better in other things. Like I just told y'all about fat men. So it's like, okay, I'm overweight, but I can cook my ass off. Them little skinny prissy chicks can't cook like me. Okay, I'm overweight, but I'm super cleanly. Them little skinny prissy chicks can't clean like me. Okay, I'm overweight, but I know how to be your piece. I know how to be submissive. Them other little skinny minis, they can't do that. See, your daughter can now supplement for the fact that she's fat. But instead of you making her aware that she's fat and she either needs to go to the gym and lose weight or make sure that every other feminine skill she has is on 10 to make up for the fact that she's fat, you're going to tell her that even though she's fat, she's beautiful. This is going to affect her in no way, and any man should still be happy to have her. When you know that, that's a lie. That's my problem. This is why I say modern men, specifically the older generation of men, have failed their daughters. Because her being fat isn't a problem to you. You're her dad. But what's that going to mean to her man? Again, you would be doing a disservice to your son. And this is why we have so many sassy men today. I don't want to get too much into this because it's not the topic of the video, but it's the truth. Because what happened is a single mother will tell her son, well, it's okay that you're broke. You shouldn't have to have no money. She should have some money too. You're crippling your son telling him this. It's not okay that he's broke. Oh, it's okay that you're not a protector. You don't know how to fight. You don't know how to shoot guns. You don't need to do that. That's violence. That's barbaric. But he does. He's a man, not a woman. He's supposed to be a little bit violent and a little bit barbaric. That actually turns women on. That's why they like beards. It's a little bit scruffy. It's tough. It's masculine. But you're not telling him any of this. You're just telling him he's a little pookie bear and you love him so much. This is what dads are doing to their daughters. Even back in the day, guys. Again, the same patriarchy they claim they want to get rid of, but it had a lot of good parts to it. Back in the day, right? Dads would barter their daughters. So what would happen is they would keep their daughters in the house so that she kept her virginity. They would keep them with their mom. The mom would teach them, give them a cookbook, teach them how to cook, right? Teach them how to clean thoroughly. Teach them how to be nurturing and caring. And how to they would take care of their siblings so they knew how to be great moms. Like, these were all virtues, right? So what would happen is when a man was ready to marry, right, he'd go out, he'd get his horses and his mules, his acres of land. And what would happen is he would come to your father and he would say, I want to marry your daughter. And the father would say, well, what do you have, son? And you would show your acres of land and your mules and how many shields you have and how big your farm is. And if the dad thought that you could generate enough money to take care of his daughter, he would give you his daughter. In exchange for you having all this stuff, he gave you a daughter who was a virgin, who could cook and who could clean, who was nurturing, caring, prepared to be a mom, and submissive. So there was an exchange. But now, you're not putting any of those skills into your daughter. Now, essentially, what's supposed to happen is, I'm supposed to come up to you and say, hey, you know, I make 6 figures, I got a car, I got a good career, I'm ready to settle down. What's your daughter? And you bring your daughter out here, she can't cook, she won't clean, she don't listen, she's fat as hell, and she don't know when to be quiet. No such thing as peace. And I'm supposed to buy this woman for the same price as the woman over there who's in great shape and can cook, doesn't mind cleaning, is submissive, nurturing, and caring. Why would I do that? I'm not going to do that. So what happens is your daughter goes out here, she gets her cheeks clapped, but no one wants to commit with her. The other women are getting committed to. Now you've raised a bitter, broken, angry, confused daughter who's online complaining about how men aren't real men. When the reality is she isn't a real woman. And you as a man failed to instill into her what she needed to do to get a good man. You just send your daughter out there, oh, she's pretty, it'll work out. Your daughter ain't that fine. Stop acting like your daughter's Ruby Rose. Stop acting like your daughter's Coco Jones. Stop acting like your daughter is Sydney Sweeney. She's not. If your daughter is Sydney Sweeney and you teach her to do nothing, she can survive. But your daughter ain't Sydney Sweeney, sir. So she need to know how to do something. And this is why the abundance of useless ass women with delusional ass goals we have out here, it's not just their fault. It's their father's fault. It's not even just feminism's fault. It's their daddy's fault. Their daddy should have been the one to teach them and prepare them to be a good woman for the right man. Instead of just telling them to sit on their fat, lazy asses, learn nothing, do nothing, and the right man was going to come by. This is not Disney. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a storybook. This is real life. In real life, you have to compete. The reason Asian women, Hispanic women, and white women get married more than black women is because they're trained to compete. A lot of them were taught what to do for a man, and they know what to do. They know how to compete. A lot of you failed your daughters. You taught her she shouldn't have to compete for a man, which is stupid. As men, we know we got to compete for women. Why would you tell a woman she doesn't have to compete for a man when there's 3 women for every 1 man in America? Let it breathe, run it that. The best gems come for those who stay till the end. Why would you tell your daughter she don't have to compete for a man when there's 3 women for every 1 man in America? There's not enough men for all your daughters to get married. There's more than enough women for all your sons to get married. The fathers are failing the daughters. So next time you want to snap at a modern woman, I want you to look at that Gen X man. And I want you to look at that baby boomer man and know he played just as much of a role in her being delusional, being insatisfiable, and just overall annoying as everything else did. Her father played a huge role in that. He could have stopped it, but he didn't. Either way, y'all, that's my thoughts on that. I am Alex, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.